1, 2, the other hand,
Okay.
3, up we go. 1, yeah. 2, you go up.
What would you have been if you were not a runner?
Hey.
Uhoro waku, oyo ni Wanjiru, and today on Time with Wanjiru, today is a very special day because we get to spend time with a man who carried Kenya's flag, the Kenya's flag with pride long before social media existed. He calls himself the first coach, and he's one of the most decorated runners, a world champion, an Olympian, a marathon winner all over the world, and a man whose name itself has a beautiful meaning, and a man who showed the world that Kenyans don't just run, they fly. Ladies and gentlemen, Douglas Wakiihuri.
Hi, how are you?
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So, how does it feel to be on the Time with Wanjiru show?
Well, it's a good thing as long as you're going to inspire more Kenyans to be like me or to be like you.
Yeah.
I think it's quite important.
Okay.
We bring up the new generation and show them the way,
All right.
Guide them along so that they become somebody in this country of ours.
All right. So my first question, I love Gikuyu so much, and I've been wondering, and I know someone else is wondering, what does your name Wakiihuri mean?
The word itself is derived from Wakiihuri. Wakiihuri kiria kigayaga kitahago shuru.
Yeah, like the wooden.
So when my grandfather was born, this is from the story I hear from my tata.
Okay.
And she told me that when my grandfather was born, the mother passed on.
Okay.
After that, he was taken care by the villagers. So he was given the Wakiihuri to hold. So every time, wherever he went, he had Wakiihuri.
Wow.
So the name automatically came
Wakiihuri.
Yes.
Wow. Nariu ugegetwo after your grandfather.
Well, I think from my mom's side, she thought I would to give me the grandfather's name. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another question. So how did you come to know that, you could win, you could be a world champion or you could run in general?
That one you can't tell. But we all dream. You need to have a dream.
Okay.
And my dream was to be an Olympian champion or just win a race. And of course, the reasons behind it is because other runners tried to tell me that I'm not good enough. And instead of breaking down, I became stronger. And I turned it around into a positive. I said, fine, if you think I'm not good enough, let me prove it to you. That's the dream I took on in the world, and I challenged it. And of course, at 19 years old, I went to Japan, and the rest is history. Okay.
So which year were you 19?
That was 1983 when I finished my high school.
So there were no TVs?
Well, black and white was there.
You guys had TV?
Yeah, black and white, yes. Black and white.
So you're
the communal. No, it was the communal in the hall, but we didn't own one. Okay. We never even owned a radio. So how did you know that Olympics is something? Or? We used to watch it in a communal TV, whereby the kids were allowed from maybe 4 to 7. Okay. After 7, then the adults watch the news and all that stuff. Yeah. So, but basically, if you are a sportsman, you will find a way to even read the newspaper, get to see what is actually written, and of course, where I was within my mom used to work in the prisons, so she was a prison warden. So within the prison, we were also having the prison athletic team. So within that space, we had more information of the athletics, whatever sports in general, what is happening, where, who is winning, what is happening. That was there. Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I would imagine like most people didn't know about running and that you could do something.
And of course, my uncle also was a very good runner. He was called Wilson Waigwa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the first people who got scholarship to go to the US in the 70s.
So he's like your role model.
Exactly. So he also really played a greater part of supporting me with like training shoes, track suits.
All right.
And of course, he gave me also hope that if I run well, he will get me a scholarship to the US.
Yeah, and now I have another question, because I think someone else may want to ask this question. So running is tiresome. Like, it is not the easiest thing to do. So you just wake up every day and think, okay, I'm going to sweat.
No.
I'm going to run. Nitachoka leo lazima nichoke.
It's not like that. It is very simple. If you wake up in the morning and do any kind of meditation, running is one of that meditation. So it is something that you meditate, and the reason why it's a meditation type, it's only that the difference between it is physical. And you run, especially if you run in the forest in the morning, you will feel very different than running in the city.
But at 19, did you know that?
No. I mean, there has to be something that clicks. Yeah? Yeah. Even when you're playing football, it's not that because its ball is rolling that you are playing. No. There has to be something that clicks between you and the ball. And it's only who knows how you feel when you do that particular activity. And running is also part of this, one of them. So at 19, I didn't know I will be a champion. I didn't know I'll win a medal, but the love for it, for sure, it was there. Yes, that one I can tell you for free.
Wow.
It was there.
Okay, so I think we should go sit.
Yep.
Yeah. Continue asking you questions. I have lots of them.
So,
Wakiihuri, Wauga, you went to Japan when you were 19.
19 years.
19 years?
Yes.
Was that after high school? Like, did you go to school? Did you go to college? Like, what do you mean 19?
My school started, I was born in Mombasa. Then my mom was working at the Shimolatewa prison. I have no much recollection of that time because I think I was very young. Then we came to, I think, Meru. Now in Meru is when now I started my running career because I was in a school called Meru Township. And from prison, it was about 2 kilometers. We have to go around the fence and then we had to come back for lunch. So that triggered a competition between classmates and, just running to the gate. So who's going to be first. So every lunchtime, we were like, boom, we have 1 hour. So we have to run 2 kilometers and back 2 kilometers. That's 4 in the afternoon. But in the morning, you walk also 2. Yeah? So if you walk 2, come back 2, go back 2 and 2, for the 8 kilometers. Of practical walking and running together. So that is now how I came. Then I came to 1969. I think we came to Langata West, Langata Women Prison. There I met the athletic team, which now I was happily integrated in, and we were running from there to, and then from there we were running from now Langata to Nairobi West, which are a few kilometers. Then I was in the Langata West Primary School. So that's when I went. Then I finished. I didn't go to a public school. I went to a private school, which was called Ravels High School. In Ravels High School, I did my 4 years, and I graduated 82. So when I finished my high school, and 83, I was off to Japan.
And you stayed in Japan for how long?
6 years.
That's why you're good with your Japanese.
It is not the issue of being good. It is the issue of wanting to understand a different culture by talking the language. Of course, there are gray areas, but I think one of the trigger was that I had 2 coaches. I had the head coach and the assistant. So the assistant would speak a bit of English, And it came a time where he tells me that, I can't translate what the head coach said. So, I was only left to guess. And that triggered me now to learn the language so that I can pick by myself what the head coach is saying. Yes.
So, from speaking to actually writing songs in the language.
Yes.
Because you have music and you sing in both Japanese, in English, I think in Swahili.
Yeah, I mix even Kikuyu, Kikuyu Japanese, Swahili Japanese, and English Japanese. You know, that's because I, speaking is just as good as it can get.
Yeah.
But then you also want to challenge yourself and see how better can you do something different.
Yeah.
And that is when the music becomes richer because of having two different languages. Of course, we have the tendency of saying we don't understand, but we listen Spanish, even though we don't understand. We listen Lingala, even though we don't understand. But the whole concept of it is that if I look at my running, what basically the young people have a challenge with when they leave this country is trying to become a Kenyan 100%. Okay, so that leaves your plate full with Kenyan stuff, and some of this luggage you're carrying, you don't need them when you're out there. So I decided I cut a 50-50. I remove about 50% of Kenyan that I don't need, and I add 50% of the Japanese that I need to make me run. If that's what it takes, for me to win a medal, let it be. But same thing in music is the same thing I saw. Since I understand the language and I can speak it, why not try a tune that is in between? And I think it is very interesting to just even think about composing between a Japanese and a Kikuyu song. Yeah, but it's quite interesting because Japanese also sounds more like African in one way, so it harmonizes very well with African beats.
But I've heard, my cousin lives there and she tells me that Japanese is a bit hard.
Okay, let me tell you. When the person who created the word easy and put it in the dictionary, I think he has confused everybody. Because I wish you could tell me one thing that is so easy that you can do that people don't do. It is not about making money. It is not about going to school. It is not about growing up. Yeah. It is not about talent. So everything that you have to do does not have to, for you to succeed, must eliminate the word easy.
Okay.
For you to succeed. Because as we speak now, success is where? Is on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
So how easy can you climb a mountain?
It's not easy.
There you go. So basically, it is not about it is about the objective of what you need to do with what you're trying to learn. If it's a talent about running or football or music, what is your objective to achieve that success? And I'm sure you are going to study crazy, you are going to practice day and night for you to become good. Because at the end of the day, out of 100 champions, you emerge a champion.
Okay.
So the 99 champions must have trained harder, but you did something harder than they didn't do.
Yeah.
Or you didn't sleep probably.
Yes.
You see, they slept 8 hours, you slept 4 hours. So the denial of sleep made you a champion or made you a successful musician.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a Gikuyu proverb. Hega, for sure. So what does it take? Kiega, the legend, the championship ke. Kiumete hega. Kana, does it come from hega? Or were there challenges?
Challenges are always there. As I said before, success is on top of the mountain. You know. Right? When you're standing on the podium, you know you're going to get a medal. It could be either gold, silver, or bronze.
Yes.
Okay? You already know that. But the only challenge is, how do I get there? Is the basic plan of getting there. No one has the principle or the plan of it. Nobody knows how. Ona shukuru. Gukuru. Wana adhoma egali. Ni uko na wira mwega. Wone grade jega. Wone wira mwega. But how to get that job? No one has an idea.
Yeah, for sure.
And the parents are not telling you what they did for them to get the job they are working on. Because if they tell you, it's crazy. Even yours will be probably much tougher. So So in a nutshell, you would say basically there are a few key principles. Number one is the passion.
Yeah.
Number two is the discipline. And the discipline must be heavy, like 1 kilo of discipline is required. So if you have discipline, and then you also have determination, and you also need mental strength, because a lot of jokes that people say about other people, it is not a good thing to the people who are being said. Being it a simple joke that we take for granted, it becomes a thorn in somebody's heart or in somebody's mind. Yeah. Okay. So if I see you doing something, regardless where you stand, where you are, I must encourage you to take the next step. Okay. And if you fall, I must lift you up. Yes. To give you courage and tell you there is hope where you are going. Yeah. So keep going. There's water. There's something good. And those are the most important areas, from friends, from parents, because the friends themselves probably they are very good friends when they're advising you. But then they also need to be friends even when things are wrong for you. And I always like to take an example of a burial. And it's not only because somebody has passed on. No, we are celebrated when we die. I don't understand why. It's okay to mourn me when we are gone. It's fine. Yeah. But let us be celebrated when we are living. Bring the flowers when I'm alive. Yeah? So equally, if you have friends and these friends wishes you well, they should support you in everything while you're trying to go up the mountain. They should actually push you so that when you get to the top, you can pull them up. That is the way it's supposed to work. Okay. Yeah. So the small peer pressure that come up in anything, because somebody can just say a simple word, like when we used to run. Running was probably the least thing any parent would want to hear. And the first question was, what are you running after? Then others will even say, it's even better to run after the ball than just running, So then we're called crazy people. Yeah. So you must be crazy enough to win a medal, to show the other people that they are not crazy enough. Yes. If you don't have the word crazy in your system, then you're not good. You don't have what it takes to do what is supposed to be done. Yeah. And you cannot do with everything. You must deny yourself a lot of things. Yeah. That is because of discipline. Determination and courage is a mental toughness of not listening to the thorns people are throwing at you. Yes, you'll be torn apart, but in your mental must be very strong and go choose the path. First is a highway without junctions. Yeah. A straight up highway, you go all the way back umalize. Because if you have junctions, you'll tend to stop in these junctions. So you don't need the junctions. Yeah. So for you to succeed in any part of anything, those key principles are important. Yes. I think that's a very important, I would say, advice, because there are people who they're probably doing something, but because maybe it's not bringing money at that time, maybe they think it's not working at that time. So you start, those junctions. So an opportunity comes, you take and say, okay, I'll follow my dream later after I get this money. So that's what you mean. Like you have to go straight. It's a straight up highway. And it all evolves around time. Yeah. If you understand time, and I always say it's like a joke. You cannot wear a diamond watch and you are late. Or you wear a Rolex with gold plated and you come late. It is wrong, because you'll never meet anybody. There's nothing you'll ever meet. Olympic will have finished. So first understand time. Yeah. How does time work? Because even you, when you're born on a certain time. Yeah. And it also took time for you to grow to where you are today. So that is the same concept in life, in everything you must do. Yeah. You must invest time whether it's your talent, whether it's your education, even if it's friendship, everything, even food, you invest time to eat. You just don't swallow. You see a snake goes and grabs the conjures and swallows once, that's gone. But it also takes time to do that. So all these things must take time. So preparation is key, commitment is key, and being on time is important because everything has been decided. Said it's on 1st of January 2026. Okay? So work backward, you have 6 months. So what do I need to do in 6 months? I need to train maybe 2 or 3 times a day for me to be ready for this 1st of January. And that's all. And that commitment. Of course, between there, you'll find you get injured, but you also have to take precautions of like getting to see a physio, discussing with coaches, and also being more upfront in a truth, saying what exactly is happening. Because some of us say this and they're doing different things. So when you come to the results, you find it is opposite. Because if I know that your leg is sore today, I will not give you a harder training tomorrow. I will probably tell you go and see the physio, rest that day, so that the next day you can continue rather than going out for a full week of rest. So those are some of the now timings that are required, and always a clean heart will always achieve. A clean heart. If you not necessarily that it is, I don't know, like water. No, it's not about being water. It is about being committed and being faithful to what you do. If it is 1 kilometer, you run 1 kilometer and you tell your coach, yes, today I've done 1 kilometer. That's all it's required. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. So if it's interviewing Douglas Wakiihuri, I said, today I did it. Today I interviewed Douglas Wakiihuri. So let's talk milestones. But because I see you have the medals there. Yes,
I have my medals. Yes. This is some of the precious stuff that I never knew I would get. This is a silver medal from the Olympics, 1988 in Seoul, Korea. The first medal for Kenya. For the men's marathon. I got a silver. And then I have a gold medal. This one is 1987. Just a minute, I can remove it here. Here, so this is the 1987 gold medal, the first gold medal for Kenya that I won in Rome, Italy, during the World Championships in the men's marathon. This was the key opener of the marathon running today. Yes.
So that was after. Had you come back from Japan, or was it? Did you do it when you were still coaching, or you were still being coached in Japan?
Okay, let me take you back. My dream was to be in the Olympics, and this opportunity for Japan came about through a Japanese friend of mine called Mr. Kobayashi, the late, and he was very passionate about running. So he came to Kenya in 1970s. He resigned his work in Japan, came to Kenya, and he was doing freelance work. But he was in every event. So every time we would meet with him. And he never saw me as a talent. He only saw determination. So he said, there's a young man here who is not talented, but is very determined. That's what he wrote to the coach in Japan.
Wow.
All right?
Yeah.
So that is where my journey began. Of course, I was performing very well. I was in the top 6 in the cross country as a junior then. That was 1980s, late 80s. No, early 80s. Actually, it's the 70s. Come to 80s.
That was when
late 70s to early 80s. I ran like cross country like Mosocho. I was number 6. I ran Kenyatta University cross country. I was number 3. I think number 3. So I had done well previously. So I was supposed actually to be in the World Cross Country Junior team. So Kobayashi came up and he looked at me, and I think he saw something in me, which I don't know what it is. But he arranged for me to go to Japan. So when I went to Japan, I met my coach. And he asked me, you want to be an Olympian? Plus my coach, they were in New Zealand. So basically I traveled from Nairobi to Calcutta, India, then Perth to Christchurch in New Zealand. I was still 19, and all this travel was like what is it called? Like a fiction thing, like a movie happening, because you go. I've never been to the airport. I'm 19, 19. You go, you find so many people, and you're like, you can't even move because you're like.
And I'm guessing many were wazungus.
Exactly, and you can't figure out your way through to So luckily, Mr. Kubayashi's wife accompanied me with a 2-year-old son to take me all the way to Christchurch.
Wow!
And this was the beginning of my dream becoming true. So in New Zealand, I met my coach, who was Kyoshi Nakamura, and the assistant was Shinetsu Murao. And Mr. Shinetsu would speak a bit English well, so communication was good, but I still started learning. So we went back to Japan and the journey began. So that was 1983. And we started planning that we need to qualify for the Olympics. Therefore, I must try my luck in the World Championship. That's how it began. You say, in order for you to qualify for the Olympics, you must run the World Championship. And the other problem I think I was facing also is that some of my Kenyan colleagues had already qualified for the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games. So I didn't qualify for the 10,000 meters. So the coach told me the only way for you to be on the Olympics is to use the marathon. All right? I said, if that's what's going to take me there, why not? So then it started. We started training, and we used to go to New Zealand for training.
Oh, wow.
Because my coach, the late Kyoshi, was very fascinated with the runners from New Zealand. And we started using Lydia's training system, plus the Japanese system. And eventually, I went to Sweden for conditioning. Then I went to Rome 3 days before the World Championship. And of course, I won my first medal. And I think that medal itself and the win itself is so memorable that our late President Moi actually was already in the stadium when I was winning.
Wow. So
that was very, very special. And I don't think there's any other athlete who will be like, your president is coming in and you're winning the race.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is now my ticket to the Olympics. Yes.
Wow. So I want us to talk about your milestones, but quickly, so from the World Championship to, though I've not listed all of them because, oh my God, you have lots. Umeenda kuenda. But anyway, so I want us to, you can use like one word or short sentences for everything that I nitasema. So like World Championships from 1987, you're the first Kenyan male to win gold in a marathon.
Yep.
Yeah, so in a short sentence or just one word, what would you say about that?
The first gold medal.
Yeah.
It's the key opener. It's the opener.
The key opener.
Yeah, it's the opener.
Okay.
It opened the doors to the rest of the young Kenyans who are running marathons now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the silver at Seoul 1988 Olympics behind is it Gelindo boarding?
Yes, I was behind Gelindo. It was a sad day for me, but I still have to be contented with the silver. I would have liked to have a gold.
Okay.
To be the first gold medal for Africa.
Okay.
But it was the first silver medal for Kenya. Again, it was an opening door for the young Olympians from Kenya for the marathon.
Okay.
Yes.
London Marathon 1989 winner.
I was the first one. That's where the first coach name comes in, because I have many firsts.
First coach.
Yes,
okay.
I was the first in 87, first in 88, first in 89, first in 90.
New York Marathon.
Yes, no, that one I wasn't first, but the first four. And then, of course, the first coach of the first lady.
Okay.
So I have many firsts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
1990.
That was also, again, the first one for Kenya. So basically, I was the opener, the gate opener.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
opening
now
the
Beyond
gates.
Zero campaign.
Yes, again, the coach of the first lady. And I believe we delivered the 47 mobile clinics. And I think that was very, very special for our First Lady to be able to do that through running. And it only gives us a bigger picture of what running can do in this country. And I think we need to make it a business. As long as we make it our livelihood, let us make it the business for the country and own it, because I don't think there is any event that can be run without Kenyans. And we always say that, or it is always termed as the runners in front of the park are always Kenyans. Yeah.
Wow. So in this interview, I did not want it to just be an interview. I also wanted you to, I wanted to challenge you. Should go to that small field over there. Hata kama najua, I just want to do it. I just want to try.
So, that's fine.
So let me go change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, you stretch like you can do. You're stretching your this side of the quads. So you feel the stretch from here. You go 10 sets. So you change the other leg. Same with balance. 1, 1, 2, 3 inward. 1, 2. The key point is to tap the hand. If it's this way, you tap 1, 2, then outward, then again 1, 2, the other hand. 3, up we go. 1, 2, you go up. Let's go. 2, 3, we were moving. 4, move. 5, just lift up. Hivyo. Not too pole kidogo. On your mark, set, go.
You are going easy on me.
That's 8.
8 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can see.
Yeah.
Here I don't have any room for running. It's very restrictive.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's tough. So running for 2 hours.
Yes. 2 hours, 9 minutes.
Can make me kuhema hivi na 2 hours.
No, you'll have gotten used to it by then. Yeah. It is. That's why, okay, when we say we are passionate, we really don't mean about that passion.
To show you blood photos of athletes, Kenyan athletes, and I want you to one kama utawajua. There are 6.
There are 6. This is not Eliud Kipchoge.
Okay.
Yeah, this side. This is Nani, the one who won the marathon. Bridges. Where's Bridges? Okay. This one is Paul Tergat. This one for sure is Paul Tergat. Yes. This one, could it be? Wanyonyi?
I saw you with him on your Instagram feed.
Rudisha.
Yeah,
Rudisha, yes. This one is Catherine Dereva, direct. Yeah. This one is Tekla. Lorupe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you knew Tekla?
Yes. In fact, I'm the one who gave her the first advice when she was running New York.
Really?
Yes. She was green. Yeah.
So that was in the 1980s?
80s, yes, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we've helped a lot of athletes to come on track as they enter into fields that they don't. This one, I am not sure.
Vivian.
I should. 10,000.
Yeah.
Vivian, yes, she's a good runner. Yeah. So I missed how many? Only one?
Yeah, only one. Out of 6.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad. Yeah.
So one final question. What would you have been if you were not a runner?
Hey.
Like ungeenda college kusomea nini?
Hey. I am not sure, but I used to make jikos. when I was beneath the vichungis, I could kata mabati and toboa. So maybe I would have gone technical.
So not daktari, not...
No. I was not into those things. Not a doctor. I think a technical person.
Yeah.
Because I also used to do to make a color, like kata, kushona. I also used to do chonga, like animals. So I think I would have gone more technical stuff than this office stuff. I was naturally an outgoing person, like being outside. Yeah, that's why I was saying that from the beginning. There's something that clicks. Even if you look at a child, you see the preferences the child takes. That is probably where that child might end up, if not forced otherwise. Yes, so the first instinct is the click that the person has with nature. That is probably the space you are in, and that's why probably running came into me naturally. Yeah, and a lot of people will ask, okay, how do we run? Like from the Central? Yeah. We have very good runners in Central. It's only that our preferences are different. We take different preferences, like like making money, but we've never thought that running also can make money. Yeah, because there's a like the Olympic, they pay what, $60,000 for number 1, number 2 is 30, number 3 is $15,000. Wow. So if you are able to work on that marathon, I'm not sure how much they pay, but I think it's the same. Yeah. So you can see now, but then as we were passionate about running for this country and being patriotic, because we were between the era of the colonial era and wanting to prove that we're also somebody within where we are coming from. Yeah, Kenya is a colony, yes, but we are now in the game where the colonialists are also running. Yes. So what would you think we will do? We'll just try to colonize them. Yes. During the race, but raising our flag high was the first priority. Yeah. And I would really give the Almighty God appreciation for giving me health, number 1, because that's the key to any performance in life. Okay. Yeah. And there's this maybe mentality, watu wako nayo, that running is for certain people. So we know sana the Rift Valley people ndio wanakimbia sana. So what would you tell that person mwenye anataka like asiambiwe, unajua Wakikuyu hawakimbiangi, Wakikuyu ni wa biashara. No. Even that one is running. Yeah. Because the speed that we do it with is very fast. Yeah. Yeah. You are thinking of building a mall, as we start with that first. We start with Nduma. Yeah? Yeah. So basically it is that why do you have to spend time thinking of what other people are doing instead of looking at your space? Why can't you try and see where you can get? Yeah. And I think we have proved it. There's nothing to prove anymore. Yes. We have myself, we have the late Wanjiru, we have Catherine Dereva, we have John Ngugi. Yes. Yeah? Yeah. We've cut across, we have a number of athletes from Central who have done very, very well at the world class. So there is no reason why you should sit there and think that you're someone else is better than you. Just go out there and prove that you're also even better than anyone else. And I think that is the way you need to look at it. The only thing that we discussed earlier is that the commitment and the passion and discipline and determination are the key pillars of success. And you must understand that success is on top of the hill. Yeah. So whatever you do, there is no shortcut or climbing a hill. You must climb that hill within your speed, ability, and determination. Of course, you can have people push you up the hill. There are many ways to go up the hill. But once you get on top of the hill, you'll be successful. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome. And I think the last words, the words that nimebeba sana mimi ni, you have to be crazy enough to win that medal. But to add on that, life is very short. Yes. But marathon is shorter than life. Right? Yeah. So it is attainable. Yes. Thank you so much. Welcome. I'm happy I got to spend time with you. Nimesoma pia how to run. So hopefully next year you'll be a runner now. Oh no, I can't promise you that. No. Let me not promise that. Why? We have Sanchat, we have expressway. You can run. You can even run in the recreational running. In fact, you should do one in the space of recreational running. The same thing you're doing, but you do it in a recreational running space.
Oh, I'll try. I will try. I can try.
There you go. That is the determination.
Yes.
Just to try. Yes.
Yes, I'll try.
Yep.
Because I loved running until nikakuwa zero mwisho. But I do admire runners. Like, I feel like you guys, for sure, you're crazy.
No, we are crazy.
Yeah.
We are just never the Madaric type crazy, but we are crazy enough.
Yes.
So you have to be crazy enough to be successful.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've heard the legend himself. You must be crazy enough to win that medal in whatever stage of life you're in whatever career you're in. You must be crazy enough to win that medal. See you in the next video.